Hey, beloved. So, going to continue with the metamorphosis of Chakra, Wanda. I started from where I am, so sort of like now and going backwards. Here's a painting that I'm beginning. I'll be talking about when that started. The next thing that I want to talk about, was a time of my life, and as I share, again, I'll be sharing lessons and blessings along the way. Back in 2016, I was presented with a health challenge. They found tumors in my lymph glands and behind my nose. And how that was discovered is I used to do massage therapy, and I would go to the Y and do the steam and the hot tub. And in the steam room, I was giving myself a self-massage on my neck and shoulders, and I was palpating underneath my neck. So that was around May of 2016. I went to the doctor. By July, it was determined that I had, again, tumors in my lymph glands behind my nose. And they wanted to do a biopsy, and they tried to do it a couple weeks before, July 4th, in the ear, nose, and throat doctor's office with a long needle. And they said they wouldn't have the results until after July 4th. Went back, and it was inconclusive. So they needed to do surgery, and while I was under, they would have the tumors tested. Went to the hospital, and a dear massage therapist friend of mine was able to take me and then take me home. She was given the home care instructions, and she trained my daughter on what to do. I had literally had a plastic bag coming from my neck, and my daughter had to wake me up in the middle of the night in order to drain the tubes coming from my neck. They gave me Percocet. Went back to the ear, nose, and throat doctor to get the stitches out. Lo and behold, he says, so we still don't know what's going on, and we need to do more testing, and sent me to a medical oncologist. So I'm in this place with people who are experiencing cancer, and oh my God, the things that I saw. I checked in, went to see the doctor, and then she needed me to do some urine tests. Had to pee in a red bucket for 24 hours and take it back, and then they drew another like 10 or 15 vials of blood, and then I had to get another, like I don't know if it was a PET scan or a CAT scan, but it's a tomb, like you lay on the table and it goes into like this tomb like machine, and you can't move at all. And I was in deep prayer. I was imagining that guardian angels were standing at the corner of the room, of every corner of the room, and there was someone that I loved deeply who I imagined standing over me as well as a guardian, male energy. And the result of that was that there were no more tumors in my body, but they wanted me to come back to do a bone marrow biopsy. And they gave me some medication that they said that I needed to take that day or the day before. No, that day. And I would have to have someone drive me because I wouldn't be able to drive. And I researched that. And bone marrow biopsies, they go on your hip, very painful. And then I got a call a couple of days later, and a nurse was saying, okay, now we have you scheduled for such and such time, and then after that, we're scheduling you for to go to Duke University for a trial. I'm like, man, please. Time went on, and the day before I was supposed to get this bone marrow biopsy, I called them. I said, I am done, because I prayed about it, and I didn't hear that I should be going through this. And this is $40,000 later from that original surgery. So they called me and said, the doctors want to talk to you right away. I went in, and there's normally a blackboard with a spiritual message at the nurse's desk. And I said, God, give me a couple of signs. Give me some signs so I know if I should proceed or not. And I missed one thing. And when I knew that I was going to have this surgery, I went ahead and used my tools of affirmative prayer and created an affirmative prayer for myself. I was led by the Holy Spirit to remember my training in anatomy and physiology, to go online and Google the area of the body that I was having a blockage and write down the medical terms for the anatomy, you know, the part of the body that was impacted, and to use and speak to that within my affirmative prayer, you know, to activate the remembrance of the God gene, the God health, the God energy down to the cellular level, right? So I recited that prayer, and I knew that when I would go into surgery and when I'm coming home, that I would allow the body to rest and heal, and that my conscious mind would focus on things that would add value to that. So I didn't tune into watching TV or get into worrying. I just rested, right? But I agreed before approaching the journey of how I was going to respond. Yeah. So went back to the doctor, went back to the ear, nose, and throat medical oncologist, and I saw on the board the first sign, and it was one of my favorite texts from the Sacred Bible. And on the blackboard it said Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans that I have for you. Well, that was it for me. God knew the plan. God knew the plan. Right? You know, nobody else has the plan. So I go to the doctor, and the next sign that I got, when she began to talk, she sounded garbled. It was not clear at all, and that was my final sign. And I asked her, why I'm having to do a trial. Oh, we can't figure out why you have 2 different type of tumors in your, and they did give me a diagnosis, some rare disorder, you know. And I said, I'm not doing this. I already got charged $40,000 after insurance and everything. You know, it was a much smaller bill, but still. And they said, well, you know, the ear, nose, and throat doctor that you saw is chief over all ear, nose, and throat in the region. And we have meetings, ear, nose, and throat, once a week, and your case come up. And we've decided that we will just have you come in every 3 months, you know, and monitor you. And I was like, yeah, unless you're going to pay that $40,000 bill, that's how we going to do it. So it was a very intense time. With all the tools of awareness that I've learned, and all of the intentional prayer, and just using the energy to stay present and calm and reserved. It took a lot, but I learned a lesson, and this is 2023 now. I'm still here. A year later is when we had at the salon that I worked at, they did a photo shoot. Not a year later, it was a few months later. And after the photo shoot, I got to see what I looked like. And in that moment, nobody else knew, but I was having a panic attack. I didn't like how I looked. I was still swollen. And I had to talk to myself, because I was feeling like, oh my God, you know, I don't like how I look. I don't like how I feel. And I had to say to myself, don't sit here and beat yourself up. Accept yourself the way you are right now. And make a commitment out of love to yourself to make some changes. And a year later, I got into hula hooping for fitness. And it was just a fun way to move. And there was how I got into that. I got challenged by one of the service providers at the salon. Said, we're all going to do a weight loss challenge. Would you like to join us? And I'm like, no, because I enjoy eating. And so, but I joined. And since everyone was deciding what they were going to do to lose weight jogging, yoga, you know, going to the gym, things like that. I remember that I had a hula hoop in the closet. I had been watching for 2 years these people on a live stream platform called Periscope. And when I saw this woman who was my age, and her mother was 80, and the mother 80 was hula hooping and got off of meds, blood pressure and all that, I was sold. So I remembered that, and I used that as my method. And guess who won the challenge? I did. I beat all the young girls up. I lost 16 pounds from July to September, and it was just a wonderful journey. So I've been still hula hooping, probably gained all the way back, all the pounds back by now, but I still get up and move. I'm able to do, you know, certain movements very easy, with ease and grace. I have about 15 hoops, 2 lighted whips, this LED fiber lit whips, not whipping someone, but just to dance with the move around the body, and 15 hula hoops, and a few veils that they use in belly dancing. So it increases the endorphins, you do burn calories, but most of all, it is really fun to allow my spirit to just be free and to move. And I'm celebrating, you know, that it could have turned out to be a different story. So lessons and blessings in that is to stay tuned to that inner direction without wavering and checking in. You cannot go wrong. Yeah. See you on the next video. Bye. What are we doing there?